What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Scale News Update. If you're not familiar with the show, this is where we talk about the news topics that happened over the last week in the scale world of RC. This week, we've got a busy week of news and 2 giveaways to discuss. So stick around till the end to find out more about those. But first, let's jump into this week's topics. First topic for this week is April Fools. That was last week, and while this whole year may have seemed like an April Fool's joke up to this point, there was a couple of good ones that came out. One of which was TKN announcing their new line of nitro engines. Pretty nice job on the Photoshop, a nice looking part number in general, looked pretty good. But I think my favorite for this year was RC 4-Wheel Drive's Joe Exotic Tiger King figure. Maybe it's just because I'm a big fan of the show, or maybe it's because that I think that this figure would actually kind of fit in pretty well with the rest of RC 4-Wheel Drive's figures they've released up to this point. But either way, it was a nice little light-hearted deal they put out there. Good job from them as well. But getting into some actual news, Hitec has announced the re-release of the 7950 and the 79 servos. These were popular servo options a while back, and I think they had kind of gone away. Hitec in general seems to have kind of fallen away from the top of the servo wars where they kind of used to just be that top dog, but now they're just kind of hanging in the background. I don't necessarily see them recommended or used nearly as much, but they released a couple of their old popular servos again and with updated prices. Now you can get the 7950 for about $100, and it's got almost 500 ounce-inches of torque. So not a bad price for the power that you're getting. Hitec gears were always pretty reliable. I always had fairly decent luck with Hitec, but maybe with this re-release, Hitec's trying to make it a little bit of a comeback. Maybe we'll see more from them that'll be, news and at the top of the market. But until that happens, we'll just have to wait and see. And then in other servo news, Oynx released a line of inexpensive servos, the most expensive one being under $20 still. This line of servos kind of feels like just a filler. It's just, if you need a servo, here's a servo that's not going to be an offensive price and that's going to have just enough power to, make you not question it too much if you don't know exactly what you're getting. The highest end servo is, like I said, under $20. It's a standard size servo, and it's got just over 200 ounce-inches of torque, but it has metal gears. So that's going to be a little bit better than a ready-to-run servo in most of these vehicles. And again, at under $20, it's a servo that's just going to get the job done. This is a house brand for RocHobby, so this is going to be one of those ones that you're probably going to see them pushing to a lot of the hobby shops. They're going to pick up to have on the shelf for when a customer just needs something. Next, we've got an option part release from Axial, and this is a new set of Overdrive gears for the AR44 or AR45 axles. This is what you'll find in SCX-10-2s, SCX-10-3s, and Capras. The bonus is that this is made for the 6-bolt locker now that you'll see in the SCX-3 and the Capra, and should still be compatible with all of the 6-bolt Vanquish spools that have been made for quite a while. This ring and pinion set is a 27-tooth ring gear and an 8-tooth pinion gear, giving you a 3.375 to 1 ratio versus the stock ratio, which is 3.75 to 1. So slightly faster overall. You would install this in your front axle in most applications, giving you just a nice bit of overdrive. Installing something like this would be very popular in something like an SCX-10-3 or an SCX-10-2, or also in a Capra. Granted, that Capra still has a really high gear ratio, and this is only going to make that slightly worse. So something to take note of. Speaking of SCX-10-3s, a very simple part released from Sparetime Hobbies is a part that we all saw coming, and I'm sure we'll see more examples of. But if you want to get it right now, you can now get the missing valve cover from the SCX-10-3 little engine cover. The SCX-10-3 has an LS-shaped engine cover up front. However, it's missing one bank of valve covers, basically because that's where the servo goes, and they didn't extend that cover over top of it. But now you can get this piece for just $5, or you can download it yourself for like just over $1 and just print it on your own 3D printer. Pretty good deal. I'm definitely going to pick up this file, print one myself, throw it on my SCX-10-3. I'll link where you can buy this or buy the file in the description below, as well as links to all of the stories in this week's news. And last week we got official news that the Team KNK TTC has been officially canceled for 2020. Due to just current events and the status of everyone being in lockdown, they just couldn't find it appropriate to continue planning it as is. There is no plans to postpone it at this time, but they did say in a statement that depending on how things change or whatnot, there may be an opportunity for just kind of an open run at the park. But at this point, there is no plans. If you want to try and stay up to date on that, make sure you follow KNK. I'm sure you'll see information from them on their pages. Next, we've got a new release from RocHobby, and this is a 1/6 RTR Jeep Willys. Now, 1/6 scale Jeep Willys have been fairly popular in the hobby for a lot of years, mainly because there's been several 1/6 Willys bodies available over time, either from the Dragon brand or old G.I. Joe Jeep bodies. There was just a number of ways that you could take and build one of these. And a 1/6 scale Willys, being how small those were in real life, that is not that much bigger than you would expect out of other vehicles that you have, usually more on the 2.2 side. But this one's for sale less than $300 for the RTR kit. Overall, it looks highly detailed. It's got a ladder frame chassis underneath. The actual chassis and drivetrain on it doesn't seem anything all that special. It's got a plastic planetary style gearbox in it, just a pretty standard, almost familiar chassis layout underneath. But the highly detailed body, it's got a servo tied to the steering wheel as well, so it actually turns when you're steering the wheel, and the front tires. Looks like it could be a pretty cool build overall, and the price appears pretty hard to beat at this point, at least looking at how well detailed the body is. But even I will say, somebody who's not a fan of adding driver figures to a lot of their rigs, does look a little funny with the 6 scale driving around without a figure inside there, just kind of ghost riding in that really open design. I don't know. Even I may cave and have to add a figure to something like that. Next, touching back on the live videos that Matt from the Scale Builders Guild and myself have been doing lately. We last week decided that Wednesdays were going to be the night we were going to continue to do these videos. And this week we're going to actually try and add a guest. We're gonna have Rich Trujillo on from Horizon. He's gonna come join us, discuss just whatever questions Matt and I can come up with. Looking forward to that. I think that that's going to be fun, and hopefully adding guests to the video is something that we can continue to do over time. It's something that definitely opens up more and more possibilities for conversations and introducing other people onto the channels. So come check that out. Again, that will be Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific, which is 9 p.m. Eastern, or you can look up whatever time that may be in your time zone. Next, jumping into the 2 giveaway topics that I discussed at the beginning. First one is, of course, this is the 97th episode of the Scale News Update, and for the 100th episode, I'm giving away a Castle Mamba X ESC and a Holmes 2700 V2 Polar Pro. The winner for that will be announced on the 100th episode. You can enter in the link below and enter daily by doing a couple of different things. But then we have another giveaway going on, and this one is because of a brand new product. Pitbull RC released the new 1.55 Braven Bloodaxle tires. So for all of you tiny tire fans out there, now you have another option. And Pitbull reached out and asked if I wanted to try a set of these, but as a lot of you know, I'm not a big 155 tiny tire wheel guy. So instead they said, well, let's just give a set away. So we're gonna do that. So we're gonna do exactly that, and we'll only run this giveaway for a week. And we'll announce the winner of this giveaway next week. So you can enter again in the link below. It is also being ran through the same website. I'm using a third-party website because it collects all of your entries and then it selects the winner. I don't have to do anything. It's very straightforward. I don't have any control over it whatsoever, so everybody knows it's completely fair. And then I'll just send that information off to Pitbull and they'll ship you your tires. And again, with this one, there's a number of ways you can enter daily to increase your chances of winning. So save the link, put a reminder on your phone, come watch one of my videos, whatever it is. If you're a fan of 155 tires, absolutely jump in on that giveaway. Hopefully you'll find yourself a new favorite. And with these giveaways, there's no real stipulations, just I hope you're subscribed to the channel beforehand. Share it on your Instagram story, tell a friend, do whatever you want. It's not mandatory, you don't have to share or do any of that stuff, but I appreciate it if you do. And maybe if you don't win, one of your friends will. As this year progresses, I think we're just gonna keep trying to do a bunch of giveaways and just keep spreading it out there. And on the topic of giveaways, let's kind of roll it into a question and just say, what was the last thing that you won in a giveaway? Like, have you ever won in a giveaway? I know that I've actually been pretty lucky, and I've won a few giveaways that I can remember throughout my life. And of course, it's always a surprise and just a cool feeling to win something like that. So if you ever have, RC or not, put it in the comments below. And I guess if you've never won a giveaway, Tell me what the last thing you bought for your RC car was. I think the last thing that I bought was a set of PRP seats for my Woods Runner project. But that's gonna do it for the Scale News update this week, guys. I appreciate all of you who watch. I hope you have an awesome rest of the week. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one.